Hugo, my boy. Can't believe I'd ever say something like this. But I need you to shut him down! What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here from Fat Idea to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Give for back. I mean, like, you know what time it is. I know what time it is. We know what time it is. It's peak lock time. It's peak every week. And I am cautiously excited. I'm cautiously excited. Because, you know, part of me is freaking and geeking. I love Mr. Isagi Otsuriska going absolutely insane and boo-goo bloggers with it. But at the same time, it's like, I low-key do want him to fumble. Because I do think Isagi needs to take it now. Not even like, it's funny though, because I was talking about it, right? I was talking about it with people in the comments and very specifically people who have also read bluelock. And half of them were like, well, technically, narrative balancing wise, it doesn't necessarily matter if Isagi succeeds in this instant, because technically he could still lose afterwards, right? Like he could get a goal and then Loki or Hugo just scores again and they win anyway, right? And also, they flipped, like, my main argument back against me, right? Where I was like, technically this match doesn't matter in terms of the, like, actual determination or, like, actual fear of Bluelock not making it past the group stage. We know they're making it past the group stage. I'm not saying this match or the Nigeria match or the England match that is going to follow is filler, because obviously we're being introduced to characters who we will presumably not see again for a long while afterwards. Like, assuming, even if we go with the low ball estimate that the U20 World Cup arc is the same length as the previous to the new Egotistic League and the initial Bluelock arc, which feels less and less likely, considering what? We're already 45 chapters deep into this section of the arc, and bare minimum we got, what, like, I keep forgetting the number, but I believe it's like 6 or 7 more games after this. Like, and that includes the England game plus, like, the actual World Cup. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot that still needs to be covered in that period. So, ultimately, I see that argument. I do see that argument of, like, technically it doesn't necessarily matter because, one, Isagi could lose, and two, this match doesn't really matter. We could get a France rematch, and, like, they could go absolutely crazy. But at the same time, I don't know, something about it would sit right to me if Isagi did manage to succeed this quickly. But I do see, like, one of the main arguments I saw was, like, the idea that Isagi is already doing better balancing of egoism and suitable destiny than he was at the start of the match, where he was just so fully, he was egoism pilled to the moon and back, where he couldn't even consider the idea of destiny. So I don't know. It's an interesting place. I hope he fails still, because you know me, I love seeing my main character suffer. I don't know, man, I love seeing it, and I love writing my main character suffering. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into chapter 345. True ending. Is the game actually gonna end this shot? What do you mean by that? Let's see. Yoichi Isagi. His expression changed. I can sense an immeasurable swell of concentration from him. It is very interesting. Like, we do know his name is Vivian. So it is weird that the title cards that we get every chapter just keep referring to him as Hugo alone. Like, why? Like, does he not, like, it doesn't even seem like he doesn't like his name or anything like that. Like, we've gotten character sheets for him, we've seen a flashback with him. It doesn't seem like he dislikes the name Vivian. But it just seems strange that we just don't get, he just consistently referred to as Hugo. But that being the case, I do like that Hugo, very akin to Isagi, does seemingly have that, like, that extra level of cognition where, like, he sees something like something's changed, right? It isn't just the idea that, oh, well, maybe Isagi just got the loose ball there and this, that, and that there. No, he's like, no, something's off. And admittedly, I can attest to feeling it, like, sensing it, right? Like, he says, I sense an immeasurable swell of concentration from him. I never felt that, but I have been in those moments where I'm, like, going against somebody in something, and then it does, like, almost feel like something. But to be fair, though, and to be fair, you could argue Hugo's doing this off of the reaction and actions you just saw Isagi undergo. But there are moments where I can feel a shift from somebody, right? Like, everyone always references it, like, sitting back in the gaming chair, and then suddenly they sit up and lean forward. Like, that has happened, obviously. But I even mean in, like, off things, where I can just be, funnily enough, this is a good example that's completely disconnected from any sort of, like, competition or anything like that. At work, I've been in the office sometimes, and then I see someone, like, nothing has specifically changed. It's not like they got a phone call or anything, or maybe they had an email on the screen that I just didn't see pop up or anything like that. but suddenly they'll just snap and lock in and go insane. And to see that is always intriguing to see because it shows the variety of the human condition. But at the same time, I do wonder how Hugo's going to rationalize Isagi suddenly. Like, obviously, Isagi Blanco isn't real. So seeing Isagi go from basically useless to locking in like this, let's see how Hugo reacts and deals with it. Let's see. I'm gonna, until it's given another name, I'm gonna assume this is just Hugo's Metavision design. And like, don't get me wrong, I get it. But no, here's the thing. I'm going to quote Syndrome from Incredibles. If everyone's super, no one will be. But at the same time, if everyone's super in different ways, everyone will still be super. If this is just Hugo's Metavision design, because we haven't gotten a new name for it, right? We know Predator Eye, we know Metavision. But this Gear Eye, if it isn't just his Metavision, which I really hope it is, I hope the other characters can just start to develop their own unique Metavision designs, right? Like, please. Like, you can, and the thing is, every character sort of already has what could easily be, like, a custom, or not easily, but still, you could work custom-built eye designs into all of them. Though I will admit, the puzzle pieces and the gear both work really, really well, and especially considering, like, the nature of Isagi and Hugo, right? Especially if this is truly both of their Metavisions. The reason Hugo's Metavision and just his general aura is a gear, a cog in the system, is very specifically because he believes in this suitable destiny idea, right? He's just part of a greater machine that turns and turns and turns and runs the world. So of course, his egoism is defined by that piece of the system, because that's all Hugo sees himself and others as. Meanwhile, Isagi Yoichi does see the world as something to be put together, but they're puzzle pieces. They're a bit more jagged and different and freeform, and even if it does take some sheer force of will, you can force a puzzle into a variety of different ways. Meanwhile, if you try to bend a gear, it's still just not going to work. And to be fair, same thing with most puzzles, but let's see. And wait, how did he manage to intercept the ball just now? Did he determine our attack wouldn't work and try to get the second ball? I feel like this is the most... The question mark and the exclamation point combo from Hugo goes to show that this is the most intense he's ever felt about literally anything. Like, it is always very interesting to, like, hear a person who's, like, usually relatively quiet or even toned. Even the slightest fluctuation in their speech patterns does have me going, like, something's off. It's like... The amount of times I've been hanging out with, like, the chill, quiet friend, and they'll like, it's not even like they're, like, I can tell they're angry or something like that. I just know, okay, something happened, because the usual even, like, tone they speak in fluctuates. Sometimes it's up and it's down, right? Like, obviously, there are people like me who have a variety of different voice fluctuations, right? Like, my voice rises and shifts in pitch, in tonality, in discussion, all the time. Even in my, like, regular non-recording self, my voice does oscillate and fluctuate. It's, I don't know, it's a thing I've, like, naturally learned how to do to try and keep people's attention. I come from a family of yappers. These things happen. Once again, suitable destiny, I am predestined. But generally, yeah, I did inherit a lot of things from my environment, and that is one of them. But there are also people I know who sort of just always speak like this. There is very minimal fluctuation and or change in their voice or their vocal cords, or at least how they express themselves. But then I'll hear them do a slight shift. Like, they'll go a little bit lower in their tone. Or sometimes, like, the volume will increase just a little bit. I'm like, huh, something's up. And the same case for Hugo here. Someone who's so calm, quiet, and rational, suddenly having question marks and exclamation points. He's like, he's got him. Let's see. In any case, he's too far to shoot. Will he dribble it up himself? Or will he try to make a forward pass to one of those three on the front line? But you know what, though? Automatically, you can tell Hugo, in this instant, has given Isagi more respect. Because he's like, this is a 50-50 I am now locked into. I now have to consider which option he's going to choose, because I'm low-key at his mercy right now. And that is crazy to think about. Just like a quick switch like that can suddenly have someone like Hugo being like, he's got to do something. I can't exactly tell what it is. I gotta lock in. Let's see. And to be fair, that is one of the beauties of bluelock, right? He does have 3 separate options, and arguably more, right? He himself, well, no, he has 4 separate options. He has himself, he has Rin, he has Shido, he has Baro, and literally anyone else. Otoya's on the field right now. Heck, if he's feeling dirty, I kind of give it to Kurasu. He has Hiyori. Like, he has a variety of people he could pick right now. And that is why I always say, It is better to be on offense than it is to be on defense. Don't get me wrong. There are definitely like ways and times and places where being on defense, especially if you're really good at it, doesn't necessarily matter. But to go with an analogy that I've been recently using a lot, I'm going to stick with. In Magic, even when I'm playing two-person commander, I very specifically like to go first. To the point where when I'm playing with my homeboy, like, we usually roll for first, or like roll for who goes second, whoever, like, he likes to go second, I like to go first. Mainly because in two-person commander, person going first doesn't get to card draw. But me, I'm like, man, the momentum. Like just the idea of going first has always been better to me, because that means essentially I'm on offense. I'm only just at least one step ahead. Especially if you have a good starting hand, like I've talked about this game before. I had turn 1 Soul Ring. I got my commander out on turn 2. I play Hawkball. Bro, the game was over from right then and there because I got first move and he couldn't, like, he didn't have any mana to counterspell my Soul Ring. Even if he could play counterspell, he was playing like a white deck. Like he didn't really have a counterspells in there. But still, in that case, having the momentum is just better, and it gives you multiple options. This is true, like, and it's even true in other things, right? For like chess, I'm not very good at chess, but still, I play it a lot. And in chess, very specifically, white has a better win ratio than black. I think that's just like, in terms of like recorded games, that's just universal. Why? Because the white gets to take the momentum because it moves first. Moving first is always the better thing to do. It's such the better thing to do that even in Pokemon, they have something like Trick Room, which makes the slow mons move first because you always want to move first. But in that same reason, it's why you really don't want to be defensive like Hugo's being forced to be right now, because now he has to essentially pick the schmicks, right? And notably, he picks wrong, and he's like, gets past them. I was like, bring it on. Bring it on, Yoichi Isagi. Which Ooh, wait a second. Hold on. It's a bit unnerving, but I actually kind of like this. The one eye Metavision, the one eye normal. Why is that? Why does that tickle your boy's toes a little bit? Yo, why my toes wiggle a little bit? Something about that looks crazy. I like that. I like it. Okay, I see Isagi. But interesting. All right, let's see. So Borrow's right here. Shido's right here. I don't see Rin. Maybe he's behind the speech bubble. Otoya's right here. Loki's right here. And maybe Choppa? I don't know who this is. But still, let's see. But you know what, though? I do like that Hugo, even if he's definitely, like, caught off guard, he's like, this was not going according to Keikaku. He's like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Actually, lock in, twin. Like he relishes the challenge, if anything, right? A lot of characters of Hugo's ilk, when faced with the slightest bit of challenge, especially if their systems are as rigid as Hugo, they'll typically like break down or falter. But no, Hugo in this moment is like, oh, okay, you see, you got that dog in you. Lock in then, twin. Like bring it on then. Let's see what you can do. I like that response from Hugo. Let's see. Bring it, Yoichi Isagi. Which destiny will you choose? Which destiny indeed? All right. He's like, he does the dash, makes it go fast. Oh no, he's gonna slander me. Oh, okay. For context, I talked with a friend and I was like, there's no way Isagi. Man, I should have known. If I was betting on it. And you know, funnily enough, though, this just makes us even. Because the same friend I'm about to refer to, right? I said there's no way Isagi and Kurasu are actually going to properly work together in this match. Because I was very heavy on the idea that Isagi's going to fall short here, right? Like, he's going to not, like, fully take in the situation. Something about Isagi's ego is going to get in the way. And he's like, nah, gang. That's not going to happen. They're going to work together basically immediately. And then, to be fair, it didn't happen basically immediately, but clearly it is happening now. He's part of Isagi's rationalization from like, oh, I do need to talk about another major thing that people point out. The idea that Isagi could never really be number one if he's so focused on the idea of consuming this ideal number one as the basis and foundation for his ego, which we'll talk about in a sec. But specifically, I'm very against the idea of like Isagi and Kurasu working together in this game, but he was adamant, and to be fair, I don't blame him because he trusts the author. He trusts the author. He, back before obviously Isagi and Kaiser started working together in PXG, he was like, no, there's no way these two are ever going to work together. It's just not real. It's not feasible. It's not happening. And I was like, nah, bro, you got to believe. And he pulled up he literally sent me, hey, here's the kind of Shiro, like, out of author statement. Isagi and Kaiser are never going to work together. And I was like, why would he spoil something like that? He's just lying. And he's like, there's no way he's lying. And Shakor, he was lying. Because, like, and that's the thing. It's always funky. Like, unless it's a weird, like, Funnily enough, at the time of recording, there's a statement that came out about Maharaga from JJK. And apparently, according to Gege, writer of the manga, there is no difference between any of the numerous Maharaga summons we see throughout the entire narrative. He is just the same, which does, like, technically that does fit a certain thing that I always felt was weird, that they didn't change it all once there's this rabbit hole there. But essentially, all that's the same. That's a statement where I'm like, okay, the story's over. There's no reason to lie about that. And that's probably just a clarification, because Gege themselves have probably seen people going around and arguing about the differences between the Ragas. But, at the same time, Gege has also lied before in certain interviews, because when you're telling an ongoing narrative, you aren't just going to spoil your plot. Even if a very, very small subset of your actual reader base will actually see your interviews. Heck, I read a whole bunch of series. I don't even know, like, the author's name off the top of my head if you ask me the series. Though obviously I do know many of the authors I read. But even then, I'm not like fully tapped into what they say beyond their own narratives. So I always take whatever an author says in an ongoing narrative with a bag of salt. And sometimes I take it as whatever they say is probably going to be the opposite. But, hey, I'll give my boy credit. He was right. Golly. Let's see. To the side. Okay. Double exclamation points. Hugo's getting shaken. I see you, Hugo. And where that metavision go? Where that gear go, bro? Let's see. Huh? Even Kurasu was like, gang, this I don't know, you about to bust it open with me like that. Let's see. Isagi. Come on, fellow. Okay, you know what? We're talking about it now. All right. Jeez. Come on, fellow second best. Yeah. All right. So, this is definitely a conundrum. And I will admit, it didn't even really hit me until I saw the comment about it, and then I saw more discussion about it. At least for now, it does, this is where we go into, like, my interpretation of things versus, like, what the manga's actually saying. And hey, there's one guy who will read a manga and then extrapolate something completely different from it. It's your boy. You've seen me do it many times before for bluelock specifically. But in one of those cases, one of the main points I saw is surrounding last chapter, and very specifically the rationalization that Isagi reached that allowed him to intercept that ball and evolve to a new point and reawaken Isagi Blanco, Mastered Ultra Instinct, is specifically the idea that, oh, I thrive and I'm at my best and my greatest. My ego is consuming the number one of the moment, which automatically implies that Isagi can't be better as a number one. Or no, he can't be number one without there actually being a number one to make him better, right? That consistently implies inherent narrative subservience to someone greater, and thusly, he can't be the number one striker in the world. However, hold on. Do you smell that? I smell. It's my copium. My favorite. So, let me huff my copium real quick. I think what Isagi means there is very specific. Like, to be fair, phrased it horribly. Just in the way that I talked about how Ego kind of phrased egoism horribly, but like what Ego says versus what Ego does. I'm very much an action speak louder than word kind of guy. What Ego says egoism is, and then what Ego reinforces and shows us what egoism is when it comes to the narrative. I'm like, those are two different things. That's where I get my idea that egoism is being the greatest you can be of yourself in that moment, even if that moment is not being a striker. It's just being your absolute greatest self in a moment and carry that out consistently. Do not lower yourself down and subjugate yourself prematurely, even if you realize in a moment that subjugation may be the only way for you to succeed. That's like how I interpret egoism, but that is different from what the narrative has explicitly told us. And same thing for Isagi's realization last chapter. I see Isagi's realization last chapter in the reawakening of Isagi Blanco more as a Noel Noah kind of thing, right? Where Noel Noah flat out admits, I want to become even stronger. But he's already number one, so who's he trying to become stronger than? Himself. So Isagi, by consuming the number one of the moment, still is ultimately number one, but whoever would be that prospective number one, the one to take over him, he would simply consume them to make himself stronger. It's what Noah was doing with Isagi to make Kaiser stronger in order to make Kaiser stronger to make Noah stronger. It's like a weird Ouroboros. It's like a weird Ouroboros where it's just consistently feeding. That's kind of how I viewed Isagi's proclamation last chapter. Not as he'll never be number one and he's completely given up on that. I don't think that. But at the same time, just based on how it was worded last chapter, I cannot blame people for coming to the conclusion they say he's like, okay, so he's like admitting that he'll never be number one. And this, the whole idea, come on, fellow second best. Even if you want to argue this is some, like, if you want to use my super, delicious copium. If you want to huff some of my delicious copium with me, even still, the come on fellow second best, that doesn't bode well unless you assume that he's essentially attempting to gaslight Kurasu into serving and feeding him. Which you could still also relate back to the Noel Noah thing, where ultimately he tried to humble himself and relate to Isagi only to use Isagi without real care for him in order to make Kaiser stronger without real care for Kaiser. So, like, maybe you argue he's going down the Noel Noah route even more, but at the same time, yeah, fellow second best. Ooh, it doesn't. Ooh, Isagi, that doesn't sound the best, bro. Let's see. Huh, even Kagamaru's bamboos. Man's all the way down the pitch, and he's like, Big Sagi? Let's see. Huh? Is he for real? They're cooperating now? I mean, like, yeah, Shakur, this isn't the new Aegis League anymore. You guys are still on the same team. Let's see. Is he playing the... Ooh, I like this. Uh-oh. But you know what I really like about this? And this is definitely... I don't even think it's a coloring error. I think very specifically, is he planning to join the Kurasu-centric system? I think no. I think he's playing to override and utilize it to his advantage. Why do I say that? Look at how the puzzle pieces have essentially entirely subsumed the Black Crow. Hear me out. Hear what I'm cooking. Hear what I'm cooking. Pick up what I'm putting down. Pick up what I'm putting down. Let me cook. Very specifically, you can see the way that the bird has now been entirely enveloped in white puzzle pieces when we know Kurasu's system is based around the black bird. So yeah, sure, Isagi is relenting to the system, but he's overlaying it, literally overtaking it, by essentially using Kurasu as a foundation for his own supremacy, which does happen a lot in real life. Look up any Monopoly ever. Let's see. The Demon King came down to me. You know what, though? You know what, I was going to say, Kurasu, hop off tip. But to be fair, I get that excitement too. Especially considering what Kurasu, especially now that we've had focus on Kurasu, we know how he feels about Isagi relative to he himself and like the complications he feels around that. Yeah, this would be revolutionary. This would be like, oh wow, okay, so we made it. To have Isagi Yoichi of all people be like, yeah, it's when we gotta lock in. We gotta take care of this. We gotta do this together. That would be enough for me too to be like, whoa, okay. It's once again, I've mentioned this story before, of back in the high school gym days, man. I had this rival, this equal, this monster, this beast, this creature. Not the only one. There are a couple, but one of the main ones who could stand my rival and equal in basically any sport we played. And essentially, one day when we were fighting them older kids in the gym, not literally fighting, but like going up against them in any of the gym activities we were playing, sometimes we had to push our differences aside. He came to me saying we need to align. He was the Isagi Yoichi in that instance, and I was like, okay, Kurasu. And I was, as Kurasu, I was like, okay, let's shake hands on this. And Kurasu getting excited about that, yeah, it makes sense. And once again, especially if we don't huff my copium, this is Isagi relenting to a system that actually works in comparison to his that was failing. Let's see. Yes, you can be cute when you want. Let's go, extraordinary second best. Cross up off. I know. Okay, to be fair, I know he actually is correct. But you be calling everybody extraordinary. You be throwing that thing around on anybody and everybody who's not extraordinary. Let's see. We know, but let's see. Okay. Hugo and Charles getting put in the schmixer. Ooh, and I like it. I do wish though. You can almost tell there's still a certain separation between them, because the feathers are only around Kurasu and the puzzle pieces are only around Isai. You think they'd be intermixing or like surrounding the wall. But look at Hugo and Charles getting put in this schmixer, brother. Okay, let's see. What? 1-2 pass? What else will they do? Let's see. Hold up. What's going on? Add a little bit of defense. Watch out. They're trying to charge up the center. I mean, yeah, if you're just going to spread it wide open for them, why wouldn't they? Let's see. Oh, Rin. Gosagi Itoshi. No, what? No. Gin? That's just a Bleach character, bro. But look who it is. The greatest ghost ever ghost. Is he actually logging in? I mean, to be fair, if there was going to be a goal, I feel like it should be from Rin. It's like Isagi doing the man-shine thing again and giving up the ball for the sake of victory or at least tying. But at the same time, I wouldn't want Rin to score either. Oh, yeah, it's really we're already out the 15. Yeah. 2 minutes left in the game. I mean, to be fair, we know the play can go on longer than that 2 minutes, but yeah, I still don't think I want them to score. But the game's almost over. Let's see. Isagi. He decided coordinating what? Why can't I read? He decided coordinating with me wasn't working, so he switched over to Kurasu. How dare you try to cut me? Rin, brother. My brother in beans. How many times has the ball even touched your feet? How many times? You've been on this pitch for a full 90 minutes. How many times has the ball touched your toes, brother? I'm not like, and don't get me wrong, I understand. Sometimes you always want to go back to main, even if the main ain't working. But there are times where you're like, there's a reason why you have secondaries, right? There's a reason why you move a certain way when a certain way or method is being presented to you. Sometimes you gotta move. And unfortunately, brother, you weren't moving the right way. You weren't moving or grooving the right way. So yeah, I don't blame Isagi for picking up a second option. Once again, if we go with the idea that Isagi, for helping Makopium, go with the idea that Isagi is universally rage baiting right now. Presumably, he wants Rin to awaken the Destroyer mode. He's like, hey, come on now, do something, do it. And ultimately, by rage baiting Rin, he's possibly bringing it out, considering he's popping and locking and veining right here. Let's see. 2 minutes left. Let's see. Get up there, guys! It's our last chance to score! Y'all are still sweating. I've been sat up for a minute now. Let's see. Only 2 minutes of added time left on the clock. Can France's kings run out the clock, or will Japan's challengers... or the challengers BL Japan catch up? Still read that wrong. But, okay. So what's the read right here? Random Loki, Otoya, random Shido, random goalie, Kurasu, Baro, Otoya, Shido. Still no Rin. All right, let's see. Because now Kurasu has free reign to choose basically whoever he wants. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. Hugo and Isagi. Let's see. I've been waiting for this. Yoichi Isagi. You chose your destiny to be your team's dedicated second best. Presumably on a surface level at least. Let's see. Do you understand now why I've tried so hard to guide you and the Japanese team to your true suitability? My dream is to win the World Cup 4 times. To that end, France needs to fight against strong rivals to keep leveling up. In other words, we need the world's soccer players to follow their destinies. And you know what though? It is a crazy thing, but not only can I attest to it personally, but very specifically, I can attest to it like in terms of like doing this myself, like literally sharpening the blade of somebody else just in order to refine my own. Like that, once again, I talked about earlier with the idea of Isagi possibly just gaslighting. What Noel No was doing, sharpening one blade so you can use it against your own to refine yourself. I have specifically gotten into Magic in like the last, I'd say probably at this point nearly a year, because man, time is flying. But very specifically, when my friend first started me on Magic, I was really bad at it. I didn't really understand anything. I didn't really get anything. And to be fair, I still do ask questions on occasion to this day, because we run into real interactions all the time now. But now that I more consistently play Magic with him, he's just better at Magic. Because I got better at Magic. And we have more experience with it. So we're consistently bouncing off each other. And it's because we're even rivals. Obviously, something like Magic is a lot more different than something like an actual physical activity. But even still, we understand interactions better. We understand how certain win cons for our deck and how we can reach them and how we sometimes can't reach them. We understand backup points. Because we've been able to meet at this even point. And I feel like everyone's had moments like that in real life where the greatest and most consistent way for you to evolve or grow or develop is to be put on par in that flow state with someone who is your direct rival. I never got faster than when I had someone who could run the same race as me. I never got stronger until I saw someone who was doing the same thing. Really, I don't really weight train with anybody but myself. But still, I've seen other people in the gym doing the exact same way as I do, and I push just to that level so I can do even better, even greater. I've never been my intellect has never grown vaster than when I've had someone to bounce my intellect off of and had a direct rival and challenge. So Hugo very specifically being like, yes, I needed this. I want, because I saw the potential in you to become a threat to me. And in the very threat of your existence, you can make me and by proxy my entire team better. I love it. I love the greed in Hugo. Yes. Yes. We'll see. Ooh, I love this. Hugo being a living automaton, that's so cool, man. Just get more sense. Hey, what are you? Not even what are they? What are you feeding you? Let's see. You pass Japan. Now, roll credit. Let's see. Now, let's reach our true ending in this showdown between teams of perfect suitability. In the end, it's all but a game. In the end, it's all but a ploy to make oneself stronger. And hey, I mean, like, it is crazy to think. Like, I mean, to be fair, I'm still not fully for the idea of, like, reducing people down to their utilities, like, their most basic and function. I'm still not necessarily all for that. But at the same time, I do, because of how much I understand that idea of growing off of somebody else. And I do believe the best way to grow is with somebody else. I get that. I get why, especially in Hugo's mind, like, this was the best way to do it. To truly sharpen ourselves, we must have a blade that can stand our rival. I mean, of course, man, Loki downskill of Doom, dog. Remember when he was the next greatest veteran, Raw Noah? Fodder. But still, I do like this. Let's see. Oh, but Isagi's double metavision in and out. Let's see. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, Hugo seemingly gets ahead of Isagi to go lock down Kurasu. Kurasu passes. Okay, not to Isagi. It looks like Isagi just breaks off of Hugo as Hugo focuses on Kurasu. Hiyori immediately gets the ball, swipes it right back. Okay, Isagi gets it, immediately passes it through. Ooh, to Otoya. But right, they are one unified system right now, so every single piece can be actively utilized. All right, tup. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay, interesting. So he outward traps it, lands, flicks it with the right over to Kurasu again. Kurasu hits the cross right around to Isagi. Isagi hits the... Yo, did he even... He didn't even trap it. Was that just a direct cross? It looks like Kurasu gets it. And notably, it doesn't even look like Kurasu traps it either. He just goes for immediate right cross, mixing past this guy. Isagi immediately crosses it right back before any proper reactions can be done. Going around this guy. And then they're just running for... Okay, but this time he does trap it on the outside. All right. So they're moving fluid, smooth, and in motion. But it is very interesting. Hugo, despite his amazing tenacity, is not able to lock down either of these players right now. Intriguing, if I do say so myself. Incredible. Just why Isagi couldn't coordinate... I can't read... This is not Hiyori's voice. Let's see. Incredible. Just by Isagi coordinating equally with Kurasu, bluelock is entering a new dimension. Yeah. I mean, there is... Like I said, there is no greater way to level up than to level up in sync with somebody else. To truly dive in and... Especially, notably, I say this, not just having, like, a rival in terms of, like, you are similar in certain aspects. Very specifically, I talked about it earlier, the guy who I teamed up with whenever we were playing against the older kids. There were no greater... Like, we would genuinely bring out 120% of our potential whenever we did play together. And to be fair, the reason we didn't do it all too often unless we were playing against the older kids is because if we ever did end up on the same team against, like, the rest of the class, unless literally unless we were left with, like, straight fodder and then every other goated student was on the other team, it would usually be a wash, right? No matter what sport we were playing, it was just like, it'd be a little bit too easy, a little bit too boring, a little bit too easy to disengage. So, like, we were in that position where we had to be genuine rivals. But whenever we did, and we were both put up in a scenario where we weren't playing against each other, but we were playing against a threat that was viable to us, yeah, we did hit that, like, new dimension. We're pulling off things we probably shouldn't be able to do. Like, for example, one day we were playing volleyball. Dog. I will never forget. I literally flicked the ball up. And of course, I have large hands. I've had large hands for a while. I haven't grown that much. Man, I'm minimal. But I haven't grown that much in a long time. So I've always had large hands. But literally, it was like, it wasn't for game point. We were just so locked in at that point. I literally, like, hand up, flick the ball off the tips of my fingers. Someone else sets it, and then he immediately spikes it. One of the cleanest sequences known to man. And that was just something that happened on the fly because we were in that point. We were zoned in. We were locked in. These things happen. Let's see. Here it comes. Extraordinary. But see, like, you call everybody this now. So what does that even mean? Oh. All right, back to Hiyori. All right, let's see. Huh. Switching over now. The goal is 28 yards away. I can shoot. Ah, all right. We're using the same play. Is that even against the same players too? Okay. Let's see. Is this a chance to make the same shot as before? No, duh, Hiyori. Lock in, twin. Let's see. No, it's an even better chance. I can pass the Shido too. Can you? Be a very tight pass. But I mean, like, technically you can. Or borrow. There's so many scoring possibilities. Yeah. Pick one. Let's see. Kurasu created this optimal situation. Now choose. My best option is... Ah, okay. But that was, unironically, this is a pull from even before the Nigeria match. Analysis paralysis. Sometimes having too many options can hamper you. And to be fair, this happens a lot. Especially, back to Magic. In Magic, there have been many a times where I've had like 3 separate win cons in my hand and just enough mana to cast one of them. And like, the thing specifically about Magic, especially like the friend that I've still referenced that got me into Magic and now I consistently play against, he plays, like, one of his main decks is a white deck. He has so many different ways to exile my commander. And my commander, at least in the main current customized deck I have, like I mentioned, I play Hawkball. I play a relatively, not fully optimized, because, man, fully optimized Magic decks is expensive. But in a pseudo-optimized Hawkball, I do have, like, backup or spare win cons. But that like, he still is the like he's the one I go out to immediately. So there are times where I've looked at my hand and been like, okay, but if I cast this now and he plays a board wipe, those 2 win cons are gone. Like, the times where sometimes you do have to analysis paralysis it and you just have to go for it, those are those moments. But it is in moments of hesitation where you can sometimes reveal something that you didn't even mean to reveal, or just a moment of weakness where you don't act fast enough. Sometimes it's better to act with a sort of impunity or a gall. I cannot tell you, referencing to something more common than Magic, to chess, right? Admittedly, not the most common. But there are many times in chess, especially where I am playing white, where sometimes I just get a little bit reckless. Even if we're not playing with a timer, I'll move quick. Sure. There are 5 different ways I want to go. Like I said, I'm not very good at chess. I don't have like pre-built bait out win con things, but I do have a very basic playstyle. I will eat every single one of your pieces. I'll try to keep as many as my own, so I can just eventually corner you down. And sometimes when I'm playing white, I'll move quick. And then they're like, what's he planning? And then they'll take their time and they'll move, and I'll move quick again. Because half the time it's like, I don't really need to think about what you're doing, because you're always reacting to what I'm doing. So I'm just going to keep forcing situations that you need to react to. But in moments like that, especially even when I play black or when I'm on the defensive in Magic, there are times when too many options actually is a bad thing. And it looks like Hugo is exploiting that right now. Hugo and Charles, let's see. Don't think about it. I'll crush Borrow. Yo, Borrow, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Borrow, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Borrow. Big bar, big row. What you doing? Let's see. Okie dokie. I'll take Shido. Emoji. Let's see. Right. You may have more options, but in the end, you're nothing but uncoordinated, egotistical rabble. If we keep you from making individual goals, you're utterly screwed. There it is. Isagi and I talked about this a little bit earlier. Isagi mentioned back, before even the Nigerian, before it was an actual proper threat here like it is in this moment, Hiyori's delays are a bad thing. And it's funny, because notably, the character who did have a delay, or like a misread, was Yuki Miya, all the way back in Ubers, I believe it was. And now Hiyori, like, and to be fair, I think that is a good way to show like a meta creep, or this like general narrative power creep, where Hiyori, despite being the dumb, stupid, crazy crack guy he is, even he has these moments of indecision. And it's these split seconds, these instances of a lack of immediate action, predetermined action sometimes, or even just spontaneous action that costs them possibly this opportunity. If Loki's here in Hiyori, Borrow's locked down, even Shido's locked down, what's the choice now other than to maybe pass back? Like, he doesn't have anything. Hiyori essentially kills Kurasu's effort by waiting too long, by getting analysis paralysis, and that can happen. Let's see. What? Yeah, and look, even Kurasu wasn't ready for this. No way. With Loki, Hugo, and Charles' individual abilities, one snap judgment was enough to coordinate to shut us down? What level are these guys on? They are truly, like, and I've talked about this before. Just as, like, a me, and this is a general thing for me across, like, all means and metrics of what I do, and I mentioned it before, and we've talked about it. But, yeah, I do believe in the importance of planning in terms of, like, long-term, long-scale stuff. But notably, that side of me mostly shows up in, like, real life. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking care of this in the long run. I need to take care of this now. Like the grand general plotting me is completely different from the normal day-to-day me. Because normal day-to-day me is, like, ball out. Wild out. Why not? Just go crazy. Whenever I'm playing a game, like I mentioned, sometimes I just go crazy in chess. Sometimes I just go crazy in Magic. If I can, heaven forbid. My friends look at horror stories sometimes. They're just like, oh, I have a good starting hand. Turn 1, something turn 2, turn 3, up turn 4, because usually I get Hawkball out on turn 4 because he's a 4 color. And if I don't get, like, any signets or anything like that, or silly like a Soul Ring, it's like, well, turn 4, time to go absolutely bonkers. I have 4 Merfolk on the field, now 5 with Hawkball. Let's have fun. Like, it is sometimes you do need to while out. And that capacity and willingness to while out does allow, shockingly enough, for more options because of your opponent's inability to reconcile with the idea of how you're doing something. Sometimes going crazy, going stupid, that is the way to go. But obviously, Hiyori, someone who lives in the cognitive, was not able to rationalize that enough. Let's see. All I can do is shoot. No, they're ready for a shot course like before. My course is too narrow. No! And look at that. I took too long to decide. Just like, and I like that though. Just like Isagi warned. At the level they'd now be playing at, they don't have time to make these, like, extensive thought processes. And of course, these extensive thought processes are likely lasting, like, maybe 3 seconds. But hey, anyone who's ever raced or timed anything, in short order, 3 seconds is a long time. For example, for any of my sprinters out there, you know the difference between an 11-second race and a 14-second race in the 100-meter dash. 3 seconds is massive. And while obviously a game of soccer is much longer, especially in moments like this, in clutch moments, in these split-second plays, yeah, taking too long is the death knell. Let's see. Oh. Reflex and flow Loki. Is it that serious, gang? Loki, lock in. Well, maybe he is locked in. Game over. Uh-oh. Isagi Blanco. All right, let's see. Okay, obviously this isn't the true end, though, because the game's still going on, but let's see. Well, that's the end of the chapter. Let me scroll down a little bit more. All right, there we go. Hiyori! Huh? Pass it, you major fiend! Isagi-kun. Uh-oh, but Hugo got the gear out. He's already calculating. But all right. Hold on. Let me pick you up and unsheath you. But yeah, W chapter. I like it mainly because it did go in a way I wasn't really expecting. For Kurasu and Isagi to immediately start working together, that's hype in of itself. I know they're on the same team. It's what they should be doing. But still, to see Isagi acknowledge Kurasu, and even all my copium aside, right? This review was full of copium. Full of just me huffing the stuff. But even putting all my copium aside and just reading this at face value, right? This union between these two separate systems is beautiful. Seeing Hugo struggle to comprehend something for the first time is fantastic, considering he's basically been the uncontested, untouched mastermind of this entire match. To see how effective Isagi and Kurasu can be is amazing. To see Rin, even if he's been a ghost this entire match, actually seemingly possibly lock in, pop in, and go crazy, well, let's see, probably not, but still interesting enough to see. And then to see Hiyori, to see Isagi and Hugo finally acknowledge each other as true equals in this idea, in this dance of destiny, and this ultimate need and desire to devour each other to evolve. Beautiful. And of course, seeing specifically what was warned, what was predestined, the idea of the level of play being so high now that moments of indecision can cost them entire games. To see Hiyori fall short, hey, you know what, dude? As much as I love seeing my main character struggle, I love seeing my protagonist struggle in general. So I'm glad that Hiyori does fall short. I'm glad that foreshadowing from the start of the arc is already taking place. And I'm interested to see how Isagi handles this. I still don't want Isagi to score. I still generally don't want Japan to score. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So, if you made all in this video, please leave blank page in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that link to notifications so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, we're going to have a page down below. You can support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, if there's time to review, ad variations of all my videos, early ad free access to all my videos, early ad free access not just on my videos on the main channel, but on the second channel. That got a reaction link to the description down below and in the card in the upper right hand corner. On top of that, I do have a link to my Twitch down below. We can stream every Friday at 8 p.m. EST. So I'll roll through. Well, yeah, we chat about literally anything and everything. It's a fun time. And I do have my code Fizzly down below. Where you drop 5 views to a short video, 20 views to a long video, or any views at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I want to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Riddle 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, J2MA, Buddha Uda, Yuki Ally, Grim, Ollie, DeBoy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Tim Thomas, Kaving, OrXN, Dead Meme, Keon Stewart, Edwin Idwinoba, Straw, Antavius Mitchell, Superflame Zero, Weary Exile, Alex Kenny, Todd, The Practical One, Landon Clapwick, Heath Nelson, CAET, Plan Crone, Brandon Payne, Black Sage, Multi-Batman Superman, Zalims, Joe Bean, Sleepin' John, The Young Family Pastel Pandora, Mosity King DKG, Akolade Babatunde, Union Eye, Funny Dude, Athenzi Shear, Sino King, Sheesh King, CCC, Enzo, Kitty Liddy, Axis XC, RTM, Gangatron, Praise the Sun, Striker Man, Magic, Enzreen Bonet, Scion, John Malcolm, Black Doctor Strange, and Donovan McIntosh. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: Dread Zoan, Kevin Encarnacion, Midnight Lord 21, and Sean. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: Shrimp the Fourth Shrimp 06. Then I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Walking Munoz and Walking Munoz.